Current world number 1 golfer Scottie Scheffler recently made a bold statement that has the entire golf world buzzing. That single remark struck so powerfully it could change the game as we know it, shaking the PGA Tour to its core. While athletes and golfers often talk, few have the influence to make a century-old sports institution pause and reconsider its future. Scheffler's words carry weight, because not every golfer has the clout to speak so boldly under intense pressure. For fans of the untold stories and behind-the-scenes drama in golf, Golf Vision TV delivers exclusive insights every week. So who is Scottie Scheffler? Born on June 21, 1996, he is widely regarded as one of the best golfers in the world and a dominant force of his generation. His journey began early, introduced to golf by his father, and starting junior golf at just 5 years old. Through dedication and steady practice, he built strong habits without shortcuts, and by high school, his name was already gaining attention as a rising star in the sport. Scottie Scheffler's potential was undeniable, but he backed it up with proof. That momentum carried him through a strong college career at the University of Texas at Austin, where he competed for the Texas Longhorns from 2015 to 2019, sharpening his skills and accumulating wins with serious intent. Turning professional didn't come with fanfare, but his results spoke volumes. Sheffler entered the PGA Tour with a calm demeanor and fierce hunger, quickly catching the attention of his peers. He wasn't flashy or chasing headlines, he was chasing victories. That quiet determination made the competition uneasy. Week after week, he stacked strong finishes, proving his success wasn't luck or hype. His swing remained precise, his nerves steady, and soon his name was regularly appearing near the top of leaderboards. What sets Scheffler apart is his composure under pressure. Big crowds, major moments, and final holes seem only to sharpen his focus. Fellow players note that he doesn't give openings, doesn't blink, and waits patiently for opponents' mistakes like a hunter stalking prey. This calm, methodical presence transformed him from a contender into a formidable force. By the time he reached world number 1, it felt less like a surprise and more like destiny unfolding. He remained understated, letting consistent performance do the talking, a steady rise that made him impossible to ignore and even harder to beat. That's why when Scheffler speaks now, the golf world listens intently. His isn't empty talk. Scottie Scheffler isn't just another voice in the locker room, he's the top guy setting the tone. When someone at the peak begins questioning the system, it resonates differently, which is exactly why his recent words sent shockwaves through the PGA Tour. He earned his PGA Tour card for the 2019 to 2020 season and quickly began posting eye-catching results. Since then, he has enjoyed multiple dominant runs and held the world number 1 ranking for a total of 34 weeks. He first reached the top spot in March 2022, with his longest reign lasting a striking 29 consecutive weeks through October 2022, sending a clear message to the entire field. That level of control at such a young age isn't accidental. Scheffler's game is built on precise iron play, a tight short game, and a putter that never wavers. A pure ball striker with a calm, unshakable presence, he thrives under pressure. Unlike other players known for off-course distractions, Scheffler stays locked in, letting his performance speak louder than any headline. Scottie Scheffler's approach has always been drama-free and all business, which only amplifies the weight of his dominance week after week. His calm demeanor led many fans to assume he would always stay quiet, a perfect embodiment of tradition, rules, and old-school golf values. Wild quotes, no headlines, just fairways and flags. That's why his recent words took so many by surprise. When someone this controlled finally speaks up, it resonates far more than typical trash talk. It wasn't a rant or an emotional outburst. It was measured, deliberate, and purposeful, causing insiders to take notice. In the background, the PGA Tour has been navigating tension. Quietly, layers discuss issues privately, agents whisper, and frustrations simmer where cameras don't reach. Most stars avoid public commentary, preferring to keep the turmoil behind closed doors, but when the quietest figure at the top breaks his silence, it signals that something significant is brewing. Most players prioritize safety over controversy, especially at the peak of their careers, but Scottie Scheffler didn't. Instead of skirting the issue, he addressed it directly, fully aware of the weight his words carry, move only possible for someone at the very top of the game. The moment his statement dropped, reactions came fast. Fans debated, media scrambled, and insiders leaned in closer. Some praised his honesty, others claimed he crossed an invisible line, but no one ignored it. This wasn't a soundbite chasing clicks, was a signal that the balance of power in golf might be shifting. When the world's #1 golfer questions how things are run, the entire system feels the pressure, whether it's ready or not. Sheffler isn't loud, messy, or chasing headlines. When he spoke up, it was about the issue itself, not ego or attention. And that issue was LIV golf, or more precisely, the disruption surrounding it. LIV has emerged as a real challenge for the PGA Tour, and it's easy to see why. The LIV Golf Series features shorter 54-hole events with just 48 players, turning the traditional format on its head. The LIV Golf Series upends the traditional 72-hole PGA setup, and on top of that, players are earning payouts that dwarf typical PGA Tour earnings. Despite the noise and criticism surrounding LIV, the sheer scale of the money makes it a powerful and hard-to-ignore temptation for many players. A major source of tension stems from the tour's funding act by Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund, a global powerhouse rapidly expanding into sports. Critics argue that LIV's entry into golf is primarily about image management, while supporters see it as big money pursuing big influence. Either way, the debate remains loud, uncomfortable, and far from resolved. Despite the backlash, numerous PGA stars have made the switch, including household names like Phil. The list of PGA stars jumping to LIV golf is impressive. Phil Mickelson, Dustin Johnson, Bubba Watson, Bryson DeChambeau, Brooks Koepka, Sergio Garcia, Henrik Stenson, Patrick Reed, and even Louis Oosthuizen. That's a stacked lineup by any standard. Feeling the pressure, the PGA Tour has scrambled to maintain loyalty, knowing that keeping top players now is critical for protecting its future. Their response was twofold. First, they enforced strict bans on any player testing the LIV waters. Any appearance could bar them from PGA Tour events and affiliated stages like the Ryder Cup. Critics called it harsh, others called it desperate, but the message was unmistakable. Second, the PGA Tour fought back with money. Purses were boosted to compete with LIV's massive payouts, with several events jumping to $20 million, and the Players' Championship surging to an eye-popping $25 million. On top of that, the PGA introduced an earnings assurance plan, guaranteeing any player who participates in at least 15 events a minimum of $500,000 for the season, regardless of performance. On paper, the PGA Tour's recent moves checks, guaranteed earnings, and tighter control over player participation okayed strong, even generous. But behind closed doors, reactions were mixed. Some players saw protection, others saw pressure disguised as security, sparking real conversations inside locker rooms. For years, the PGA Tour had sold tradition and legacy as the ultimate reward, but now money was front and center, changing the tone quickly. That shift created the perfect moment for someone with true authority to speak up. Scottie Scheffler. Not as a rebel or defector, but as the world #1 with nothing to prove. When Sheffler speaks, it doesn't sound like complaints. Signals intent, and people listen. He didn't attack, threaten, or posture. He questioned the tour's direction, balance, and vision for the future. His calm, deliberate delivery made his words hit harder, exposing a deeper tension between control and choice in professional golf. Players want freedom, stability, and respect, not just larger paychecks. When Scheffler articulated that reality, it forced the tour and the sport to reflect. This wasn't about taking sides, it was about acknowledging change. In fact, some of the PGA Tour's new policies, modeled closely on LIV golf, are already working. Spanish star Jon Rahm, the 2023 Masters winner, admitted that without LIV, these changes wouldn't have happened, and he wished the PGA Tour had acted sooner. That point resonates. Sometimes it takes a real threat to force meaningful change. However, while many new policies have landed well, moves such as eliminating cuts have sparked serious pushback, showing that the balance between innovation and tradition remains a delicate point. One of the loudest skeptics of the PGA Tour's recent changes is Scottie Scheffler himself. Cuts are deeply ingrained in golf's DNA, separating grinders from pretenders, and removing them risks undermining the sport's identity. Starting in 2024, the PGA Tour announced 8 designated events with limited fields of 70 to 80 players, massive prize pools, and no traditional 36-hole cut setup that closely mirrors the LIV golf format. While players like Rory McIlroy and Max supported the plan, the reigning Masters champion expressed hesitation, which speaks volumes. Although Scheffler has backed most PGA changes, the no-cut format rubbed him the wrong way. He admitted he's split on the issue, saying he's 50-50 because, as a player, he sees the value of a cut. But from a sponsor or fan perspective, it may not be ideal. He stays neutral, but then added a line that resonated deeply. In stacked weeks, sometimes missing the cut feels cleaner. If we're going to have an elevated event the week before, a major with no cut, and I play 2 terrible rounds, sometimes you'd rather just be taken out of the tournament, reset, and get ready for next week. When the world number 1 talks like that, it's bound to shake things up. Statements like Scheffler's don't go unnoticed ignite debate instantly. And he's far from alone in his thinking. Veteran golfer Ryan Armour shares similar concerns, warning that the no-cut format could push players closer to LIV golf, creating tension for those lower in the rankings. Ironically, exactly what the PGA Tour hoped to avoid. Armour explained, "Say you finished 75th on the points list. Yes, you had a really good year, but you don't get into any of the designated events. That reality hits harder than many want to admit. For players outside the top tier, it feels like the door is closing despite consistent performance. The system, rather than rewarding depth and effort, starts favoring a select group, generating frustration among those fighting week to maintain their tour cards. As opportunity shrinks, the pressure mounts, and the cracks in golf's traditional structure become impossible to ignore. Resentment grows when access and opportunity feel limited, and that's when loyalty starts to slip, whether the PGA Tour wants to admit it or not. The no-cut model was intended to stabilize the tour, but by limiting access to top events and prize money, it risks widening the gap between top players and the rest. Those on the outside begin asking hard questions, and suddenly LIV golf doesn't seem so radical. This isn't about greed, it's about survival. Golf careers are short, windows are tight, and security matters. When players feel boxed out by design, they naturally look elsewhere. That pressure isn't coming from rebels, it's coming from reality.